So here we go, here's this week's vlog, but I accidentally deleted the intro so you can have a 300 kilo squat instead, which was so fucking fast. After this 300 kilos we moved up to 335 kilos, had to get it on the iPhone, that's why the difference here, because I forgot to set up the camera. But this moves and it is a solid, I'm going to call this a RPE 7.5, we could call that a solid 8, it felt so comfortable on my back. First time ever squatting that kind of weight with my hands actually inside the rack. And then I jumped over to my bench single that I had this day. I'll explain a little bit later on about what happened with my week and kind of why it's all messed up. But this is 172.5 kilos. And it moves really, really well. I'm happy with this. Toes down here, you can't see them, but it moves at a solid 8. The pause just needs to be a little bit longer. Here we have the start of session 2. You've just seen my barbell complex, which you saw this in last week's vlog. It is a little bit different to my squat warm, but as I'm trying to open up my hips, I'm trying to kind of create that start position that I'm really looking for in my sumo. And now I've kind of moved on to my direct mobility, my activation work that I do to try and kind of, one, protect my lower back and get everything firing that I'm going to be using that day. So you will have just seen me doing the cat camel. Just before that I was doing a push-up push. It's just kind of a scapular activation movement that I use. I'm pinching and squeezing my shoulder blades together. And then I move on to these bird dogs, which is like a unilateral core exercise that kind of gets everything firing through my ab wall, we'll call it, and my obliques, all that jibber jabber that nobody really gives a shit about. And then I flip over, I lie onto my back, and I used to do these. I used to do a glute bridge and I used to move them, but I didn't really get anything from them. So instead I just hold an isometric glute bridge and I really concentrate on squeezing my glutes so I can press my glute against my pelvis. Pressing my glute against my pelvis is going to then lengthen my hip flexor and allow me to open my hips and kind of be a little bit mobile in that area. And then I move on to the modified crunch, which is by that dude, I can't remember his name, where you took your hands under your lower back. It feels really, really good. And it's one of the exercises that I did to actually kind of bulletproof my lower back. So I kind of kept it in my warm-up. I do it every session, and there you go, just lying there, kind of with my legs open, looking like a little bit of a porn star, doing my thing. And here's my this is the last little bit of my warm-up. I actually took 70 kilos on a bar, and you'll see in a second. I just pull myself into the start position. This is speeded up. I just hold it there, and then I kind of just force those knees out, and I'm opening up those hips and try to get my chest as high as I can, and then I'll just pull a single rep. I actually kept getting cramp, like on the outer side of my quads, and it felt really, really weird, and I was kind of a little bit scared that it was going to carry on in the session, but it didn't. This is me messing about doing a flagpole. I don't know why we're doing that, but remember, you got to always have fun no matter what you're doing. And then we move on, and here is my third warm-up. So this is 160 kilos. I watched this before and I'm really, really happy with the start position. It looks really, really pretty, and it felt even prettier than it looks. I get the knees out, the weight's on the outside of the foot, my chest is up, and I've decided, because I do that stupid fucking chicken head thing, to kind of look up and force my head back. A little bit of replication like Bryce Lewis there. Here's warm-up number 4. This is 210 kilos. We're working up to an RPE single in this session, which is at 8. This is 210. This moves really, really well. Happy with this start position. Again, exactly the same as the previous one. I get my head up and it gets thrown back as the weight kind of passes the knee. I kind of try to get it back. The chicken head came back there for some reason. I don't know why. Went 210, jumped straight to 250 in the build up to the top single, which we'll see after this, which is at 280. Kind of drill my routine again, so pacing up and down the platform, checking what weight's on the bar, just to remind the weight that it's about to get fucking smoked. And same thing again here. I jumped to 280 from this because I felt confident that it was going to move how I wanted it to because of how this moved. This to me felt like a solid 6. A solid 6. The snaps there, the timing's really, really good. The hook grip at the moment feels really, really good. I've never really had a problem with it, but it just feels bang on the money. So we jumped to 280. The same number as last week, but I just wanted to pull it even cleaner than I did last week, because last week it was kind of slow, it was sloppy, and I just didn't tune the finer details in for the top single. I was a little bit annoyed at that, and then I went and did this, and it just felt really, really good. I got this little thing when I pull sumo, I'll rub my forearms against the talc on my leg, just so there's no sticking on the way up, so it's kind of got talc on my forearm too. This felt really, really nice. From floor to lockout, it felt good, but I remember this, I lost my balance as I got to the top, but you'll see I kind of disguise it. Feels good. I was tipping there, but I made it look like I just kind of pulled out. This is my final back off set. I had 5/6s at 220 kilo, which is, I think, 10 kilos up from last week, because I made a few mistakes in my programming last week. But every rep, I'm super, super happy with start position. I'm super, super happy with the lockout, movement of the head. Everything just looks and feels a lot better than it did 2 weeks ago. So the sumo is moving in the right direction. Following sumo, we actually had a load of bench after this from Monday's session, or we had a split. I had to split session 1 this week over Sunday and Monday because I was working at a supplement shop that my friend owns on Monday and kind of messed my whole week up. So I did my singles on the Sunday, which you saw at the start, and then I had my bench back off work to do on the Monday with my squat back off work. But I actually got 2 sets into my squat work on Monday night, and my elbow tendonitis flared up to the point where I had to actually leave my session early, and I only got 3 sets of 6 done instead of 5. So you've been there punching the bench like a fucking idiot. But apparently that is my new jam, and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. I think we're just working up today for 5 sets of 5 at 140 kilos. This is 120 kilos, 25 on the inside, 20, and then a 5 kilo plate on the outside. Just a single here. My abs are currently out on that. And then we bring Bridget in out of nowhere. I think she was just hanging around the gym. We bring her in a beautiful Gymshark leggings to give the hand out, and you know what? It was probably one of the best handies that I've ever had in my life. As you can see the smile on her face, she's happy with how she excelled at giving me a handy that day. I'm not happy with that hip movement. That hip movement is too aggressive and not creating enough tension. If you see there, my ass clearly comes off the bench, and that's really, really annoying. Man's got some triceps there too as he's setting up. I think that's why we're going for the new gorilla start position. It looks kind of cool, and I looked like I actually lifted there a little bit. Bridget's back out of nowhere as well. I think she just appears when I'm about to bench to help me out because she's scared that I'm going to miss it. So this is my final set here. They moved really, really well, but I'm not happy with the amount of tension that I'm kind of creating in my lower body, and there's way too much hip movement. This could be down to me figuring out this toes down shit, but I think I'm kind of getting it. It feels secure, but it doesn't at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. If anybody's got any tips for me, hit me up on Instagram or drop a comment and let me know what you do with this toes down shit, so I can conquer that and create a load more tension through my lower body. This is a tricep isolation exercise off the program that should have been done Monday, but I threw it in today, so I kind of mixed my week around. I moved pin press down a session. We had 16 reps here. We had 4 sets, 1 at 6, 1 at 7, 1 at 8, 1 at 9. This was my first set, I think. It was nice and casual, nice and calm. But I'm really concentrating on the tempo on the way back. So I'm trying to kind of rehab these elbows to make sure this doesn't happen again. I speeded these ones up a little bit. Just so you weren't stood listening to me talk absolute rubbish while I'm doing a tricep extension and showing off in front of you guys. And now we move on to session 3.
We are just on our way to a new gym in Wakefield, in Ossett in Wakefield. It's like 15 miles away from where we live. It's called Viking Strength Gym. It's literally been open like 2 weeks, so we're gonna travel over there today. They got some fucking rogue plates and comp racks and shit like that, so we're gonna go over there. I have some 2-count pull squat for a single, followed by 6 singles, and then I got the same on deadlift. I'm pretty sure it's the same on deadlift too. 2-count pause squat single, not pause squat single on the deadlift. 2-count pause deadlift, and then moving on to 6 singles, and then just some accessory work for day 3 this week. I haven't got that much footage so far this week because we trained Sunday, and I kind of got in. I just kind of got my head down, building up to the single that you've just seen, the 335. And then on Monday, I ended up hitting the gym, and fuck, my elbow tendonitis flared up like 2 sets in, and I actually had to leave my session a little bit early because I couldn't physically lift my arms up anymore. They were absolutely battered, so I'm going to really smash the mobility before today's session, try and loosen up that upper body, my lats, my pecs, really, just to make sure that doesn't happen again. Feeling good though today, feeling fueled, feeling ready to go. Even though I said this on Monday and I had an absolute shocker of a session and the elbows flared up. But yeah, we're ready to go. I'll take you around the gym. I'll show you what it's all about. It's a new facility. We're really excited to get there. And we're about to eat some fucking Jaffa Cakes. Jaffa Cakes and Monster as the pre-workout today. And then we just got one more session of the week, which is tomorrow, and that is all bench. So, I'll see you at Viking Strength Gym in Wakefield.
session 3 of the week, and we travelled over to Wakefield today to check out this brand new facility that's just opened called Viking Strength Gym. And holy fucking shit, what a facility this is. You've just seen me there cramming myself into this rack. These cages were pretty narrow, so from going from racks in to actually forcing myself into one of these cages was, do you know what, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. When I first got there and I saw the width for the rack, I was a little bit nervous that I wasn't going to get in and my elbow was going to flare up, but I really took my time to loosen up my lats, loosen up my pecs, and I was kind of concentrating on it in between warm-up sets. And you'll see when we put the weight back, we're actually kind of putting me in a little bit weird. One hand's going outside the rack and one hand's going in to actually get me back inside the rack. But yeah, my elbows were fine, my upper body felt great, and I got myself in there, and we worked up to, this is 220, which is my 4th warm-up. Nice solid pause there. We worked up to 290 kilos for a single. It was supposed to be at 8. I'm going to call 7.5. It moved really, really well. Oh my god, I just burped. I'm so sorry. This is me. I don't know why I've not edited that out. Me trying to move the rack. Not the rack, the bar. Get it in the center. This is my final warm-up. I still, as well, if you notice, I'm just doing my wrist wraps. I've still got the Bakia Oni wrist wraps on with the grip on the inside there. They're kind of, whilst I'm squatting, I'm not used to a little bit more flex in my wrist wrap while squatting, but at the moment they're treating me really, really well. I worked all the way up to my last warm-up, which is this of 260 with them on, and I felt really comfortable. They give me plenty of support, and I'm kind of running them for rappel at the moment and seeing kind of what the quality is of them and how I get on with them, and they're really, really good. So here's my last warm-up at 260. I'm happy with the pauses here. I did hit some back offs, but I'm not actually happy with the pauses that I hit on the back offs. I'll explain that when we get to it, but nice big deep breath. You notice that I've got a little bit more chest up than usual. Nice solid pause, and it comes out pretty quick. And then we try and get me back in the rack. You'll see as my left arm slides out and my right side arm comes in. We jumped in, we grabbed one of the lads that actually owns the gym. You'll see him in a minute, he comes in his short. I kind of guessed why they called it the Viking Strength Gym when I saw the two brothers that own the place. Because they look like big hairy fucking Vikings. And they were really nice guys. The hospitality that they gave us that day was unbelievable. They were, and do you know what? Crazy. It was £5 for a day pass, and a facility like that, that's just unreal. So we grabbed him pulled him away from his deadlift, and he was happy enough to come spot me. And whilst I hit my top single of 290, I'm calling Appy 7.5. If you think it's any more or any less, let me know. It moves well, nice and tight. Keep that chest up a little bit. I actually missed the line. My elbows pop up, and I was kind of falling back into the rack as these guys took me. And then we got me back in, and everybody was safe from there on in. But it moved well enough. Little fist pump, a little well done from the owner, which is always a bonus that they're kind of happy with what you're doing. And then I backed off and I hit these. This was supposed to be 6 singles at 265 kilos, but I didn't want to take the risk of cramming myself in and out of that rack 6 times. That pause was shit, by the way. Cramming myself in and out of that rack 6 times. So I did 2 sets of 3 instead. Jimmy's going to be so angry at me when he sees that, but I'll tell him before he does so I don't get in trouble. And then we moved on. We had some sumo deadlifts. I've accidentally deleted the footage. I don't know why. I've just been a bit lapsy-daisy with it this week. Just being stupid. You see there, I went to pull the whip out the bar and initiate my pull, and I'd lost my balance before it even really set off. So I kind of stepped back. I've lined myself back in. I paused 260 as my final warm-up, and it moved really, really well. And then jumped to 272.5, 600 pounds for my top 2-count pause single on sumo. And this is a PB pause deadlift no matter what the deadlift is. And it moves beautifully. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you in a minute. It looks hideous, gee. So just been Viking Strength Gym in Wakefield, and fuck, that place was legit as fuck, man. Like, it was legit unreal. Comp plates, real nice bars, real nice racks. Everything's brand new. They've really put some money into it. They put some time and some thought into the place too, and it's just on another level. And we will definitely be going back to hit a lot of like singles and just kind of use comp spec equipment. And they're getting a comp rack too, so that's even better. Now we're about to go hit some Nando's. We're going to grab some food. I start dieting probably again on Monday. So I'm getting in all the shit food I can in the next few days. But yeah, we had one hell of a session. They've just seen it all. 290 2-count pause squat, 600 pound 2-count pause sumo, which is a PB for me. And now I'm going to go PB in Nando's. I'm going to fucking terrorize Owen while I eat chicken, chips, garlic bread, halloumi, all that bullshit. I'll see you in tomorrow's session. Session 4, final one of the week. Ba-boom, boom, bang. So here we go, final session of the week. And yes, they are fucking Cocoa Pops. This is my pre-workout meal. leading into my final session of the week. And I'm not going to lie, I'll tell you before we get going, it's not the greatest session, and we had to kind of rearrange everything. Today's session is planned, and are you ready? I'm going to add some milk to those Cocoa Pops, and yes, I am eating them out of a shaker, because I'm a little bit fucking weird. So, you see me here, I'm still very nervous of getting elbow tendonitis, so this is what I've been doing at the moment. Let's talk you through this to try and kind of avoid myself getting elbow tendonitis from forcing myself inside the rack. Why are we forcing myself inside the rack? Because when I went to squads and my squats messed up, my elbow kept popping up, and that was legit just down to upper back tightness. So one of the things that we spoke about was actually getting me inside that rack from now on. Like the next time you see me compete, I will be inside that, because I need to create as much tension as I can in my body and keep myself as rigid as, like, the only movement comes from below the hip. I don't want any other movement from any part of my body above the hip. So this is me here. I've just got a band attached to a Smith machine, and I'm kind of just stretching out my lats, the good old lat stretch where I'm kind of hanging my hand in it. I'm trying to relax my fingers so my forearms don't come into play, and the concentration is through my lats. I then kind of spin round and letting the band pull my arm back. I'm trying to stretch out my front delt, because like every powerlifter knows, you get dominant in that front delt from benching all the time, and it makes it hard to get under the bar. And then I go up into a pec minor stretch. That feels really good and my hands go numb. And then I kind of made this up the other day and it felt really, really nice. I don't know, I don't even know what that was, but it felt good. It felt like it was opening me up a little bit. Then I kind of really took my time with the bar today. Like, I have not speeded this up. This is just normal speed. I was just moving. I'm supposed to have a close grip single, followed by slingshot, followed by pin press, followed by some accessory work. And you'll see how far we actually got before my elbow tendonitis completely flares up. And I didn't want to make it any worse because it was manageable. So I had to pull the session short. Just stretching out my pec minor again to try and take all that tension away from my chest. Just so it doesn't happen. It doesn't give me the grief that it has been doing. So that's the bar done. I jumped from, I think my first one was 60 kilos, just because the plates were on the back of the bench. I went 60, 100. This 100, I just take this for a double. It felt really, really nice, felt comfortable. Lower body was kind of wound in there too. I know it's only 100 kilos, but everything's a progression. No matter what weight is on the bar, if you're getting technically better, to me, that I'm happy with that. Jump to Bridget again, boom, 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 bam! She comes out of nowhere to hand me out again. Do you know what? She's the full-time spotter these days. So this is 140. This is actually my last warm-up for the day. I was supposed to go to 167.5, the same as last week, but the elbow flared up at about 120. And it was manageable here. That moves really, really well. I could have probably done a set of 4, maybe set of 5 with that. This is me shouting Bridget. She's got her headphones in and she was completely oblivious. I was about to nearly get buried by 155 all by myself. But she runs over and saves the day. I'm punching the bench like a weirdo again. I've got an elbow cuff on because I'm trying to stop the elbow tendonitis. Oh my God, is that a vein in my forearm? Holy shit, I'm getting vascular. Oh, I'm going to be lean by the end of next week. My abs are out. You see, I've got no belt on either because I left my kit bag at home. And I just brought some wrist wraps and an elbow cuff. And that moved well. I'm happy with that. But that, unfortunately, was my benching done for the day. Because my elbows did flare up. And it just wasn't... It was manageable, but I didn't want to make it worse. So I moved on and I did some upper body stimulus. You see me there. I'm holding 30 kilo dumbbells. Kind of at the base, just kind of stretching my chest out, and then I go through some really controlled reps. I don't know, I think if anybody's counting, I think I maybe did 10, 12 reps or something like that. I did 4 sets of these, just kind of getting everything firing, trying to kind of stretch it out, and just concentrating on contraction. And then I moved on and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit of shoulder work. So I was supposed to have a little bit of standing military press, but I did some with a bar and the elbows didn't feel too good. So I grabbed some nice light dumbbells. I did a few sets of 15 on lateral raise, which you're currently watching me do now. Little tip here, I tip over a little bit. I just feel it in the lateral a little bit more, and then I went into some reverse flies to kind of get some stimulus for that upper back, because that's going to benefit me in many different ways. And then you see this. Here is the fun end of the session. We decided to do some gymnastics today. You see that? I bet that shocked you. That was a cartwheel. And then Bridget egged me on to try to do a one-handed cartwheel. And I mastered it straight away. I don't know how I do it some days, but it's probably all in the coaching from her. She then just did a round off and egged me on to also do that. And I also completed that too, which was good. And you know what? You're going to have a little bit of fun here and there. But don't be shilling, don't get injured. And I'm not going to lie my legs in absolute fucking pieces today from doing that. But I'm getting better at my gymnastics. I did post this on my Instagram story, and a few of you slid in the old DMs. A few of you want to see me try to do a backflip. So who knows, if Bridget's up to the job, maybe she can take some time out of her day one day, and we'll vlog that too. Me learning how to do a backflip. Are you ready? She's egging me on now. Did you see that? That was her egging me on to try to do a round off 180. And it kind of went okay. I think I hurt my lower back there a little bit. But hey, who knows? Tokyo 2020, I could be on the rhythmic floor gymnastics jibber jabber. And then we mess about and I actually beat Bridget, who is a gymnast and a gymnast coach, at her own game. That was a frog balance to a handstand. It wasn't great, but hey, my elbows were hurting. I was tired. I'm doing some dancing. My dancing gets better every time I watch it. So yeah, that's this week. I'm going to leave you there. You can watch me and Bridget mess about. She nearly smashes her face on the floor while I kind of tip her up. But yeah, that's this week. It wasn't the best week of training, but we got it done and we're injury free, and that's all that counts. Nearly snapped my elbows there trying to do the worm like an idiot. Over and out.